Let's go, it's the Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show. Whitey Show.
Final Fantasy VII came out when I was about 8 years old. I remember being about 8 or 9, and I was playing it, and I was loving it. It was that game, you know, that one. It's actually probably what got me into gaming, if I'm being honest. The hours upon hours of playing it, I just couldn't get enough of the world and the characters. Back then, I was so young, too. I remember renaming all the characters off of, like, my favorite TV shows. I remember naming Cloud Gohan because he looked like the Super Saiyan form back in the day. But that's enough of me talking about my past. Final Fantasy VII Remake is here. This will be released in the future for more installments as they come out, and this made a lot of people worried, myself included. When we heard that this was just the first part and it was only going to include Midgar, I was confused. I remember spending maybe just a few hours in there in the original, and then I wondered if this is going to be like extremely short. Luckily, Final Fantasy VII Remake decided to build Midgar into a world worth exploring while diving deeper into the characters that we've all come to love.
That's a win.
The positives are overwhelming in this game. Let's begin with my favorite part of it all, the combat. Upon looking or playing the demo, you can get an idea of how it works. You use these fast-paced combat to slash and dash around the stage, while hitting the triangle button will bring up a menu where you can use special attacks, items, spells, summons, limit breaks, and more. This leads for strategic battle while keeping it extremely fast-paced and fun. Think of it kind of like Dragon Age, the original one, meets Final Fantasy 15, meets Kingdom Hearts, and it all just comes together.
Cloud, stop!
Get back inside!
And saying that with the combat, what I really thought enhanced it for me was that it was challenging, especially with the bosses. I thought working ways to figure out how to stagger them, beat them, breaking off pieces of them, things like that made it a lot of fun, and each boss was definitely different. Some of the regular enemies were pushovers in the end, but overall I think mixing that, of making the regular enemies pushovers sometimes, but having the bosses extremely hard, kept the challenge actually fun and made the boss fights exciting.
Shinra knows better than to stick its nose in my boss's business.
Like I give a shit.
The graphics are amazing. To be able to travel through the city now, which just feels massive this time around in an actual city, I was in awe going through this industrial type area. They do spice it up with more open areas sometimes, sewers, highways, buildings, and more, but the thing is that it makes it very industrial and city-like, and that's what made Final Fantasy VII so different at the time of its release. Also, the summons are beautifully done, and the first time I summoned Infer, or I used my limit break, especially the level 2s, I was in awe. The animation and effects they use, stunning.
Nothing personal.
So we covered the graphics and the gameplay, both being great in my opinion, but what about the story? Come on, that's what we're all here for. Is it good? Well, yeah. A lot of the major beats from Final Fantasy VII are here, and they're just as emotional, if not more so. There were parts where I actually felt sad for certain characters, especially side characters, and what happened to them. On top of that, the characters feel far more fleshed out here. It helps, too, that the voice acting is amazing, and the script is solid, and there's actually some pretty funny parts in a lot of the areas in here, and I really like that they kept some levity in spite of the villains always feeling like they're kicking your ass. I can see why some people might dislike the ending, the very ending, but honestly, I kind of love the idea. If it has a good follow-through, I'm expecting some really big surprises for me, and that's exciting for a game that I played over 20 years ago. But what didn't work? There's some sections I really wasn't a fan of. I'm going to just name them right here. The motorcycle chases. And some of the side missions were just decent. The motorcycle controls are okay, but these sections feel overly long and contain boss fights, which are just basic and not fun to fight at all. And then the side missions are good enough, but they're just okay. I really would have loved if it was less side missions, but longer ones that focused on character development. That would have made them better. Now, saying those negatives, I think Final Fantasy VII Remake is near perfect for me. It's so fun, with a very strong combat system, amazing graphics, and an interesting storyline. The minor issues I did have with it didn't really deter me all that much in my 40 hours of game time, and I really can't wait for the next installment. a 9.5 out of 10 I'm going to give this one. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. It made me actually come out and do a review, which I've given up on video game reviews, but I love this one so much, I just had to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and everyone, have a great day.
Can I come? You'd better. Then it's a date. Cloud can carry all our stuff. He'll be our pack chocobo.
What was that about me?
Nothing.